All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. I have not done a video about silver and gold lately, and I know some of you are probably wondering why. Well, honestly, there wasn't much to report on, at least from my perspective. I was having trouble coming up with some ideas for content. I hadn't picked up any silver and gold in a while because the silver and gold was basically jumping around quite a bit. And I don't like to typically purchase a lot when the price is fluctuating that much. I usually like for it to settle down before I make my decision on how much I'm going to purchase. So I did recently at the time of filming this, there was a dip going on. Now I may not release this right away. I think I'm going to release this at the end of July when I have a family event going on and I may not have a chance to record. But at the time of filming this, there was a little bit of a dip going on. So I decided to pick up a few things. I'm going to show you that today. But we're also going to be talking about the other precious metals. And it's probably not the ones you're thinking of. It's not copper, brass, and lead. Although there certainly is a good case to be made for why preppers and stackers might want to have those as well. Stay with me now. All right, folks, so welcome back, and let's talk first about what is the other type of precious metals. So of course, you know that I'm a big enthusiast of silver and gold, and I don't stack platinum typically, although I think that you might want to look into that. I think there's probably some opportunities there. But silver and gold is usually where I keep my focus. And of course, you know, there's an expression that we have in the community: if you're stacking, then you better be packing. So of course, yes, I have brass, lead, and copper as well, although we just don't focus too much about that on my channel. It is something that, rest assured, I've got covered here. But I wanted to talk about another type of, well, two types really, of metals that really aren't considered precious metals per se, but maybe they have a place for stackers. And that is, let's see if anybody's figured it out yet. That is these guys here, nickels. All right. So why nickels, you might ask? Well, the funny thing about nickels is that the melt value of a nickel is actually worth more than 5 cents. Well, I know what you're thinking, Don Corleone, but no, you can't just go out and melt them into bars and then sell them back at a metals recycling plant for the profit. That's actually illegal. But we are going to talk about why it still maybe makes sense for you to have some thought towards nickels as part of your stack, all right? They're not really considered precious metals, so you can't really think of it like that. So how much is a nickel worth? Well, it's going to vary over the course of time, but you know, it's on average, you're looking at about the real value of it, the melt value is about 7 cents. Now, can you go into a store and say, you know, oh, these are actually worth 7 cents? No, it doesn't work like that, right? And there's a lot of debate in the community about whether or not you actually can you know, melt them and use them for different things, whether that's legal. So my video is not legal advice. Let's get that out of the way first. Well, it's also not financial advice. I'm a content creator. My videos are for entertainment purposes only. But if you would like to support the channel, you can do so in a number of ways. You can, of course, give me a thumbs up if you find anything of value with this. If you're new to the channel, you can consider subscribing. Sure would love to have you join the family here. And of course, if you like to purchase silver and gold, maybe you'd consider using my link in the description down below to make your next purchase from Apmex, which is a great and reliable way to get silver delivered discreetly to your own home. And if you use my link, of course, I get a little commission. But back to the topic at hand, nickels. So again, not legal advice, not financial advice. My understanding, my personal understanding after having read pages and pages and pages of legal interpretations of this is you can melt nickels for their copper and nickel value, which of course we've said one coin is worth, you know, it's going to vary, but about 7 cents in melt value. You can melt it for your personal use. Like you can make jewelry out of it. You could make jewelry to give to your wife or your kids, whatever. That is perfectly legal. Where you get yourself in trouble, and again, this is just my interpretation of it. Do your own due diligent research. You are responsible for your own legal actions. Where you get yourself in trouble is if you're melting down nickels and then selling them to other people for a profit. That is a big no-no from what I understand, okay? Now, again, have I ever melted nickels? No. Do I store nickels? Yes. Do I go out and buy boxes and boxes of them? No. And the reason for that is, and some of you already know what I'm going to say here, is that the problem with this versus, say, this, right, versus, say, a 10th ounce of gold is the weight and the size gets in the way, right? So to save, let's say the melt value on these guys is $20. Off the top of my head, I don't really know what it is for an ounce of silver right now. Let's say it's $20. Okay, so the melt value of a whole stack of nickels like this, which is significantly heavier and takes up more space than silver, is, I actually have to pause the video and do the calculation. All right, I actually had to do a little bit of research to calculate it. So the melt value and what it would take to store the equivalent of the melt value of something like that is you're looking at about 9 rolls of this. Okay, so this is, there's 10 rolls right there. So if we took one of these out, space-wise and weight-wise, it becomes unwieldy really quick, right? So it just doesn't work. Now, do I know people who have boxes and boxes of nickels stacked in their closet? Yes, I've heard of that. And I recently read a story about a person who had stored bags and boxes of pennies under his house for the same reason. Pennies actually have a higher melt value than their actual face value, right? But the guy had stored like pounds and pounds and pounds of pennies, and in the end, it was only worth, his grandson found it, and it was only worth $10,000 or something like that, which sounds like a lot of money, yeah, but there's easier ways to accumulate $10,000, right? And even when you think about like silver, right, to accumulate 10,000 in silver is a lot of space and weight. So now you have to think about, and that when you're looking at it from those bigger numbers like that, you got to start thinking about it in terms of gold. All right, so that's the precious metal. Well, it's not really precious. The other valuable metals to be aware of. What do? Well, I save all the nickels that I find, and that's what I do. I don't go out of my way to accumulate them, but I save them, and they go into, you know, like rolls like that, and then every once in a while I'll you know, store them somewhere. But it becomes an issue of like, is it really worth it size wise and weight wise to do that, as opposed to like this or silver and gold, right? There's a little Libertad there for you. One of the most popular coins in the coin community, but very, very high premiums on these, right? But they are beautiful, aren't they? Let's see if we can get the camera to focus there for you. Anyways, let's show you what I got from the local coin shop here. So yes, I do most of my purchasing through Apmex, but I do also support my local coin shop, especially when I'm looking for things like I'm going to show you today, such as constitutional. I like to look through the bins and like look for, you know, something that's in pretty good condition. So right now I'm in the process of trying to finish off this tube of peace dollars, and then that will go into long-term storage. So I picked up a couple peace dollars, which I'll show you here right away. And when you're looking at these, like, you never want to clean these up. These are historical coins. So it's actually, if you cleaned this coin, it's worth less. I know that sounds weird. It's worth less than the condition it is right now. So this was what I'm looking for on this. Let me show you. And this is, by the way, this is the Spyderco Schmuck. If you're interested, I'll put a link to that in the description down below. But what I'm looking for is the feathers, to see if like there's any detail that remains on the feathers. And, you know, you can look for things like on the front, is there any detail left in her hair, and that kind of thing, right? That's basically what I'm looking for, you know, outside of like key dates and things like that. Let's put that over there. All right, so there's one. I grabbed another one here that also thought looked pretty decent. All right, and again, not concerned about the dirt here. That's not an issue at all. I'm looking at the feathers, and the relief on the letters. And this one actually has a little bit of toning starting, as you can see down here. And there was a little bit up there, right? And the hair, the detail in the hair, that's what I'm looking for. The dirt doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so these are, picked up a couple peace dollars. Put these guys up here so you can see them. And then I picked up a few others here that I'll show you. And some of these are actually going out to friends. So I'm not keeping all of these here, but little Merc dime, right? And I think I picked up a couple Mercs and a couple Barbers here. This was actually, bought this stuff last week and I just haven't done anything with it yet. So this stuff is actually going out to some people that I owe some stuff to. You know, sometimes people send me stuff in the mail and then I always like to reciprocate that. Another Merc, and these were all like, you know, not bad condition for the price. Got a couple more here. There's a Barber dime there. And I'm not sure if I'm going to take them out of the packaging yet. That's why I haven't done it yet. Okay, a couple more. And let me know in the comments down below what, you know, obviously I said I'm working on the peace dollars right now, trying to finish off that tube. What are you working on in the community? And do you save your nickels and pennies, right? Do you save those? That's an almost uncirculated Merc right there. Nice condition. Look at the details still left on the wheat there. That one's in really good condition. I might be keeping that one. And then last one here. And that one, so you see the difference between that and that? Look at the detail. Okay, see how that one's kind of slick, right? So I like, this is what I do at my local coin shop. Yes, I do most of my purchasing through Apmex, but at my local coin shop, I like to dig through the boxes and look for the hidden gems in there, all right? All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got anything of value, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to check in the links down below in the description for all kinds of cool things. I will, of course, put the Spartaco Schmuck in there if you want to check that out. This is a really fun, fidget-friendly knife. And if I can find it on Amazon, I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in there in the description down below. And of course, I'll put the link for Apmex in there as well. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.